What's going on, gang? Welcome back to my channel. You guys know who've been here for a while know that I have an entire playlist of what's going on in our agricultural and our food, our economy, everything that's going on in the world. I have a whole playlist. The Great Reset, which is a huge umbrella term. So there's so many videos of underlining different things that are going on, that are changing, covered up with good words and fair speeches, just like the Bible tells us. And just like the Bible tells us, it tells us to keep watch and to monitor these things, to stay alert and to stay awake. I did a whole video on that. So please check out my playlist. I have a playlist on the Great Reset, which covers a lot of different things that we're changing, because Build Back Better is just synonymous with the Great Reset, as well as a different pandemic that we are going to be seeing that I predicted last year. And we're seeing more of that come to pass. And we're seeing a lot of the things that I've been keeping watch and monitoring come to pass. And it's just getting worse. And I got a plethora of articles that I want to go over with you guys. So you guys are on the right track. You are awake. You are keeping watch. And I want to go over what is going on. And now we are seeing in articles combining the cybersecurity. If you guys haven't seen my new pandemic, the one that's even worse, check that out. That I mentioned is Cyber Polygon. And I was talking about this a year ago on how this will be our next big wave of disruption to bring forth more change. And it brings forth Bible prophecy, but we're not going to get into all of that today. We're going to go on the articles. So we're seeing the food industry, everything changing with the food industry combine with the agricultural food industry, right? And it's all coming together so perfectly and so orchestrated. It says right here that JBS, which is the biggest beef exporter, JBS, huge company, says all of JBS US beef plants were forced shut by a cyber attack. Well, that's going to affect our food in the long run, won't it? A cyber attack on JBS, the largest meat producer globally, you guys, globally, forced the shutdown of all of its U.S. beef plants, wiping out output from facilities that supply almost a quarter of American supplies. Now, something that I want to preface this video with as well is that I created a video almost 2 years ago now, chronologically telling you guys what will happen and that America needs to implode. And in order to implode, we need to implode within, meaning financially, and everything else that we have going on. One of the biggest ways, of course, is through the food and controlling the food. Now, that video got taken down. I also got banned on several social media platforms for that video. That was a long time ago, but I've inserted clips on several different videos of me, because I still save that video, on several different videos here on that playlist. And we are seeing it's an attack globally, but it's an attack globally because America is the biggest target. America needs to crash and burn in order to bring the biblical prophecy of the one world religion, one world order, new world order, one world leader. And in order to do that, America needs to go through it. Everything is going to be different very soon. Okay, so JBS suffering. Who else? Who else is suffering because of this? Oh, and this is Cyber Polygon. I just want to let you guys know this is what I was talking about. Please check out that video that I was talking about. It's the next thing that we are all going to be seeing. Cyber Polygon was just like Event 201. I'm sure if you guys heard about CV19, you've heard about Event 201 and how it was basically a tabletop exercise to bring forth and predict how they're going to bring forth this pandemic. So this is kind of the exact same thing, Cyber Polygon, except it's with cybersecurity. And as I relayed to you guys in many videos, we are seeing the word cybersecurity constantly in the media. So pay attention to that, because this is something. And speaking of which, today is July 8th and July 9th, they are actually meeting. The event will be held online July 9th. So take a look at that. I have a whole video on that, and it's coming. It is definitely coming. So besides JBS, we see Brazil beef packers halt production as cattle prices soar, domestic demand dwindles. So we're not only seeing the prices soar, we're seeing the feed prices soar, because corn is going up tremendously. And We're seeing right here, Brazilian beef packers are halting production in selected locations on a rise in costs that cannot be passed through to consumer prices, have their squeezed margins. The cost is going greatly up. Brazil meat packers, JBS and BRF is the largest poultry exporter, report being stung by feed costs in the home market, saying the cost to feed their cattle, their beef, their poultry is exceeding the worth of owning the animal. We're going to get into more of that later. It says Brazilian meat packers, JBSSA and BRFFA, acknowledge that they are struggling to pass on higher feed costs to consumers in their home market, but JBS sounded had a more bullish tone given its big US exposure. So we're seeing them start to kind of fill in that narrative. And as well as them, Argentina, temporary ban on beef exports, has potential market impacts. Now, what I'm noticing here is what I was already prefacing this video with, how it's very targeted towards America. Other countries are putting bans, they're putting limits on their own food supply to, of course, save their people. They know what's coming. But we're not doing that. America, as I mentioned before in several other videos, America is letting China take everything. Take a look at these articles. China buys $251 million worth of corn. The corn equivalent to 45.3 million bushels was worth $251 million based on future prices in Chicago. And they got record soy. They bought record soy from us. They are buying us and draining us empty. China buys 664,000 tons of US soybeans, biggest daily total in nearly 7 weeks. But they keep buying. And this is part of it. This is not the entirety. This is not all of it. And we don't have any, no, we're not going to put any limits. Just leave us all dry while other countries have their limits. So not only are the feed prices going crazy, and the export, there's bans on exports. They are killing and slaughtering their animals. I mentioned this in so many other videos. And now we're seeing the trucking shortage. We already went through in previous videos about the shipping, how we're seeing in the Suez Canal, everything going on with the shipping industry. And it says truck driver shortage are impacting food deliveries. Really, are they? That's interesting. That fits the narrative pretty well, don't you think? Everything is coming together in a perfect uniform dance that will cause us to implode. Millions of people starve because no one's seeing it. The media is touching on it, but not in a way that people are grasping the reality of what's going on here. This is not something where, oh, America runs out of food, no problem. We'll go to, export, we'll go to import from other. No, you can't import it from anywhere because every single country, this is going to be a global shortage. This is not our country will be suffering. This is not X country will be suffering. This is something global. This is going to affect every single person, but America especially. Stocks of essential ingredient are really low to do yes. Italy, our biggest tomato sauce, tomato can exporter. Well, we're low on steel now. We can't can the tomatoes and export. We don't have steel. We don't have cans. They are running on a shortage of cans. Okay, in my prepping videos, I will be posting a new updated prepping video of different things that you need to get, not only for the food shortage, but for the electricity, for the cyber attack that we'll all be facing. There's been a shortage on jars just to home preserve. There's been a shortage on jars since CV started back in March, and they still haven't caught up. And I would buy your jars now. If you have no mason jars and no books, and I have a whole video on books you need to prep in your library to use as reference, to tell you how to do things without electricity, to tell you how to cook and how to preserve food and how to do these things, but you don't have access to the internet to ask for that immediate information. You need books in your house. So if you need good recommendations on that, I have a great one I have a whole list on my website, and I have a whole video on that. So check that out. So Italy, short of cans, where we know the wood, the prices in wood are soaring. Everything is going bonkers. But never fear, because the meatless meat people are here to save the day and play hero, because they're donating millions of millions worth of food to the food banks to keep up with the demand. So everyone's going to be like, they're helping us. Look at how great this is. Look at how great the lab food grown technology is for us. Look how great. And we're doing it in the name of saving the planet and veganism, when really they're not, because they're slaughtering and burning and killing animals for no reason. They're letting produce go to rot. Okay, when we're going to talk about forest and deforestation and the earth and stuff a little bit later in this video, they're going to use the name, you know, oh, we're saving the forest, we want to save the planet, we want to do this. They're not. They need to buy the land to control the people and push them all into mega cities. Okay, you need to see what's really happening. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. If you go on onet.org, a platform for the trillion tree community, and guess what their end goal is here by 2030. I've done a whole video about 2030, and I have a book over here called Generations, and it talks about how 2020, and this was written a long time ago, 2020 will start a cycle, and this cycle will change and it will end by 2029, 2030, which is exactly the carbon reset. They want zero carbon. I did a whole video on that. Please check out that video, and how they are changing everything down to our cars, the way we cook, the way we refrigerate, the way we farm, the way we drive and transport ourselves, the way we eat. They transform everything to completely get rid of carbon. And you have to realize, in order to get rid of carbon, they want that net zero goal, and they have that carbon tax. In order to get rid of carbon, well, you can't have real animals because, of course, they emit carbon. So I don't know how that will work. Investing in forests, a business case. Severe climate and nature crisis are facing it. We need to get all the land and get all these people. Who are these people that are buying all this land in order to save the forests? Well, one of them is Amazon. And I don't know if you guys shop on Amazon, but they always send you the most huge packaging, the most biggest unnecessary packaging for the most smallest product. So if you want to talk about saving the environment, then maybe you should change your packaging. It's all a facade. It's all a facade to change our agriculture, to buy the land, to gain control, to push you into smart mega cities. No one will own anything, and you'll be happy about it. Remember 2030? You guys got to watch all my playlists on the video here on World Economic Forum. We see another new vision for agriculture, and they constantly use the word here, food security. Now, when you see that, food security, I want you to pay attention to that term. They use, remember how I told you how they use sustainability. They use these very vague and bendable words that you can bend and twist in any which way that you want. They're not a certain definition to kind of fill in the blanks that never get filled. It requires a transformation of the agriculture sector. They are transforming everything, and they want to push 100% plant-based proteins, insect proteins, lab-created proteins, proteins from your own waste. Okay, I have a whole video on that. Check that out. So we're seeing a change there. And here, they're going to monitor you. I've done a video on my Patreon only. It's not on my YouTube. So if you're not a member on my Patreon, please check that out. And it's on monitoring sewer monitoring. They actually monitor what you will be eating through your waste. Now, they said that they started this for COVID reasons, for saying that they want to monitor what neighborhood and what, where the biggest spikes are, and they can do it when there's another plague or another outbreak. And it's great to monitor your own waste, but the own waste, you see what you're eating. So soon there will be a time when a person really does eat a cow, and that waste will get detected in the sewer monitors. Soon you could be put in jail, in prison. I don't know where this is going to go, but it's going to go far. And soon it's going to be illegal to even grow your own food. It's going to be illegal to use a fireplace, to use wood burning fire, because it emits carbon. And how are they going to detect that? Well, there's websites like Global Forest Watch, and they say it's to protect from global deforestation, but it's not. And then there's another website as well called SkyTruth. And SkyTruth is a satellite monitor right here, where they'll be able to detect carbon coming up into the air. So if you're burning a fire, or if you have a cast iron stove, if you want to live off grid, if you want to do these things, they'll be able to detect and see where it's coming from and see if that is legal within the zones or not. They're going to be Everything, everywhere is watched. They have drone technology on the farmers. They have satellites, Sky Truth right here. They have Forest Watch, and it's all for food security. It's all to keep you safe. It's all to keep you protected. Don't worry. But it's not. This is Orwellian prophecy, essentially. If you guys have read 1984, read it. This is all coming to pass. And they're using these terms to, you know, sustainability, to protect you, to care and great for our climate and our earth, and we're going to protect it, and we're going to, the Roman and Catholic Pope said we're going to have a green Sabbath, which is worshiping Gaia, which is hugely condemned in the Bible. And how do they get people to kind of go along with this? By good words and fair speech is exactly what the Bible says in Romans 16 verse 18. It says, for they that are such serve not our Lord Jesus Christ, but their own belly. Remember that Epicurean philosophy that I taught you about. And by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. So they will use these words that it's great, and oh, this meat, this meatless meat is protecting the animals and, you know, saving the environment. It's way more toxic, not only for people, but it's killing all the animals at a progressively higher and much more brutal state. Good words and fair speeches. Watch out for nice people. Remember what I taught you. Nice. That word evolved over time. Nice does not mean kind. There's a difference between kind and nice. Nice means foolish and ignorant. Okay? Don't be careful around nice people and people who say nice things and easygoing things and use words that are very bendable, very malleable words. I like to call them Plato words, okay? They use semantic deception, okay? Keep watch, pay attention to what's going on because it's serious. And then we're going through a drought. Some of you guys know I just took a massive road trip, a 2-week road trip all the way to the West Coast. I'm over here in Chicago, Illinois. And boy, was it hot. It was dry. It was windy. And I saw fires everywhere, fires burning everything. And look at this map right here. We are in a massive drought. This affects our food. Okay, there's been things consecutively for almost 2 years now, of course, more, but I mean at an intense rate that have been destroying our crops, that have been ruining our cycle, not to mention we're in a grand solar minimum. Everything is imploding. This will hit a wall where we cannot cover it up with makeup anymore. You're gonna see the ugly face. You're gonna see the acne. Okay. You can go on the Drought Watch website, thedroughtmonitor.com, and you can see up to date on how bad it is. Extreme droughts, exceptional droughts. This is affecting all our crops. Remember that crazy storm that the Midwest had that never happened before? Remember the crazy weather in Texas? Everything plays a role, especially when it comes to farmers. Farmers, again, the corn, the crops are so, our biggest exporter of soy is Brazil. They are importing soy now. Okay. No one can feed their animals. The fertilizer, there's a fertilizer shortage. Everything, there's a shortage, but it's on purpose. This is on purpose, okay? And because of that, well, I can't feed my animals, so naturally it's forcing farmers to get rid of their cattle, okay? It says, and not only to mention that, they're also cutting the water. This is a designed drought. This is water wars, food wars, economy wars, shipping wars, trucking wars, like we've never seen in our life. California has cut water to some farmers. What exactly does that mean? Well, the farmers tell us what that means. Because of the drought, because they cannot feed their animals, they can't quench their animals' thirst, they can't provide their nutrition for them, they have to give up their animals. They have to either kill them or find someone who does have the resources, which is very slim to none, especially in the Western states. I drove through Utah, New Mexico, Colorado, Nevada, Wyoming, South Dakota. These places, they're dry. They're on fire. Historic drought in the West is forcing ranchers to take painful measures with no rain in sight. Western ranchers are shrinking their herds. What does that mean? It means no meat. We look again at this article. Colorado ranchers are selling off cattle to survive another year of dried up grass and parched soil. No one is surviving this. The farmers, I've been following the farmers. I want to be a farmer. I'm working to actually obtain my own homestead very, very soon. Are suffering tremendously, and they're going to try to get rid of them completely. Remember, we talked about them incentivizing farmers, giving farmers money to pay them to not farm, to use their land as a preserve. They want to preserve the land to save the earth. They don't want people to farm. They don't want people to grow their own food. They want to control people. And they do this through water, through food. We see on the World Economic Forum. I definitely recommend looking at this PDF on your own time. It's called the Global Water Initiative. I would take a definite look at that because we are in severe water wars as well. And I will be doing a follow-up video on how to prep even more, but take a look at my previous prepping videos. And they're already admitting it in the media, but not like they should. This is something no one has ever seen before. Food shortage is now inevitable due to labor crisis. So now they're blaming the people, because first they told everyone they're not allowed to work, and millions of people went homeless and starved, and had an excruciatingly painful time. They lost their house, they lost their job, they lost their career, they had to rewire their whole life, and now they're finding a hard time for people to work, yet they're saying that there's a new strain and you may not be able to, and everything is going crazy, and they're blaming. These guys are pointing over here. These guys are pointing over here. We're gonna kill off the meat. Second, we're gonna make sure that those who still have the ability to farm, we're gonna make sure they don't anymore by incentivizing them, by causing a drought, by having water wars, by causing prices too high to feed, by having a fertilizer shortage, by not allowing people to actually ship the products, and by halting them and causing delays in shipment on purpose. It's a perfect storm, and it's all choreographed. Okay. Not to mention, we've had journalists try to tell us the truth. And one who was trying to tell us the truth about what was going on in China was been arrested. He went missing for trying to tell people the truth of what's going on. He was a grain analyst. He was trying to tell people what was going on truthfully. They arrested him. He went missing. This is something huge, you guys. So I want you to really take a look at what's going on. Google some of these things yourself. Take a look at what's going on in your food store. They still are pushing products up front, trying to act like they're full, but they're not. Please be prepared. Please stay on watch, just like the Bible tells us to stay awake, to be sober-minded, meaning to be alert and to be vigilant of what's happening, and prepare yourself, just like Noah did, just like Joseph did. And I will do a follow-up video on different things that I think you need to prep, although I have several videos, and there's some great YouTube channels that show great advice on how to prep and prepare for any type of disaster. So with that being said, I hope this was informative, and I tried to say it quick and concise because there was so much to say, but please check out my other articles as well, and my other videos as well, all pertaining to this topic. Book recommendations, prepping recommendations, all on my website, maryobasi.com or obasiposse.com. And I will do a further update video on what you should get if there is a cyber attack, which there will be. All this stuff is inevitable, guys. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I want you guys to be prepared. So with that being said, if you support my work and want to see some more uncensored videos, please consider supporting me over on Patreon or donate to my PayPal. Much is very appreciated. I've been banned, suppressed, and censored multiple times. And I will catch you guys on my next upcoming video. Thank you so much for watching.